201 golden bananas in this one game. In this massive collectathon, it's easy to talk about the absolute worst golden bananas. In fact, that being said, they can't all be a headache, so let's look back on some of the best golden bananas, the challenges that were actually kind of fun to complete. While a lot of the worst golden bananas are involved with racing, there's actually a race out there I enjoy competing. It's this one with the toy race car in Frantic Factory. First off, a fun design that fits the world perfectly. I've always loved the little racetrack preview that Tiny shrinks into before attempting the challenge. The challenge is pretty straightforward and the music bops. I always look forward to this one. Collecting 10 coins isn't hard by any means. Just gotta keep an eye out for TNT or else you'll start losing them. The DK boosts make it easy to stay in first. The controls and movement are simple too. Move left and right and speed up. But the funniest thing to me being the option to cheat. He says it right away, press A to cheat. I almost feel a little bad. The race car isn't firing off rockets at me. If anything, the Beetle deserves a rocket blasting. He can get really fast at times, so I suppose a little cheating is necessary. A rematch takes place near the end of the game in Creepy Castle, but the race itself takes place in Frantic Factory. Every time I forget this rematch is going to happen and it throws me off seeing the block room, but it's great to be back. This time, there are no speed boosts or rocket cheats, so players must learn to cut corners to stay in first. Explosive boxes are conveniently placed in the way, pushing you back in last and losing coins. This rematch is certainly more challenging and requires more time to beat, but it's still a great golden banana. Thanks for the memories, race car. This next golden banana is a bit unusual, and it's very fitting for a Kong like Lanky Kong. Over in Frantic Factory, there's this colorful keyboard waiting to be activated by Lanky. Once it begins, these red critters will pop out of the barrels, burping to a specific musical note designated to that barrel. It's a simple game of Simon Says, but hey, as a kid, there's no denying that this was hysterical. Burps and fart jokes will always be a hit to kids. But I mean, even as an adult now, I'm always thinking to myself, oh, okay, so that's what the blue one sounds like. But now, how does the green one burp? Oh, okay. Did we do the red one yet? No? It's silly, it's fun, and that's what video games should be. Fun. The next few golden bananas I like to go over are all located in Fungi Forest. When first entering the world, you'll notice this apple patch on the ground. Players will immediately know, alright, I gotta do something here, but I have no idea what. Naturally, as we explore more of this world, we'll eventually discover the large apple surrounded by evil tomatoes. But wait, this apple isn't just an apple, it's the home for this poor worm. He informs Chunky that these evil tomatoes ate his friends, and now they're harassing him. I mean, leave the poor guy alone. Hasn't he suffered enough? There's a lot to love about this particular golden banana. For one, I'll take any opportunity to go hunky chunky, especially if it means squashing some baddies. But this golden banana has the reward factor of genuinely helping someone out, like the mermaid and her pearls, the banana fairy queen, the imprisoned seal pirate, and so on. It's why people love playing in Mario Sunshine, a full game of helping people out left and right. Just gotta get more of that sweet dopamine in. Once the player clears out these rotten tomatoes, the worm will request a more pleasant scenery. After all, this section of Fungi Forest rains far too often. Realizing now that you have the option to pick up the apple as Hunky Chunky, you'll start to connect the dots and realize, ah yes, the apple should relocate right over here. Much better. I think this golden banana deserves a little praise in comparison to the previously mentioned ones. There's no swimming involved and dashing from one side of the map to the other, no long quest, no long race afterwards that may require trial and error. It's straightforward and fun to complete. Moving on to another Fungi Forest golden banana, the mini-boss battle against the giant spider is a must. Talk about an iconic and memorable moment from this world. It's incredibly fitting to the world's theme, especially how the boss can only be accessed at nighttime. Now, I know some folks are divided on the day and night cycle of this world, but I'd argue this is one of those few challenges deserving of a pass. The mill has its ups and downs, what with how the player can only access certain areas depending on day or night, or even which Kong has access to the mill in a certain way. But I'll always appreciate the little build up to this fight. I remember as a kid seeing the spiderweb blocking the entrance in the corner of this room and thinking to myself, I really want to know what's behind there. Let's go change the clock tonight. Walking into this dark room with a giant spiderweb in the center continues my curiosity. What's going on here? The moment the cutscene starts and reveals a huge spider climbing down is awesome. I mean, the player will immediately think, nope, it's a trap, time to take this thing out. And you know, it's a mini boss fight. It's not meant to be the toughest fight in the world, but things can get hairy easily. The mini spiders crawling after you take more than one hit to defeat, so don't let your guard down. The giant spider hanging above spits red webs or green phlegm at you, causing the player to either be trapped in ice or reverse controls. Once the small spiders are defeated, it's time to pull a Legend of Zelda and shoot at the boss's eye. Then this pattern repeats until the boss is defeated. Mini-boss battles are incredible additions to every world. It's one aspect that I love about some Zelda games, and being rewarded with a new item after defeating them. I wish we saw more of this in Donkey Kong 64. I could see maybe a shark boss fight for Gloomy Galleon, or skeleton fight in Creepy Castle, maybe a jaguar fight in Angry Aztec. Obviously this is way easier said than done, but we have this one mini-boss fight as a treat. So here's one last Fungi Forest Golden Banana worth putting a spotlight on. Well, kind of. There's this mini cart challenge with Chunky, but also Diddy Kong has a similar challenge in Jungle Japes, and DK has a similar challenge in Creepy Castle. I mean, the minecart is just sitting there on the box art. So let's talk about all three of these challenges, seeing as how they're all very similar, but bringing something unique to the table. All three hold the same challenge we've seen multiple times throughout the game. Get to the end of the course with a certain amount of coins. When taking damage, you'll actually lose coins, so a couple redos might be required. All three minecart challenges have some sort of build-up right before entering the course. Diddy Kong, being the most frustrating, has this whole conveyor belt set up before starting the challenge. Chunky, being far more straightforward, can enter through this well. And DK has to solve this lever puzzle to unlock the door to the minecart. It's a neat way to get the player wondering, what is all this for? What's gonna happen next? It has a different, better feeling than seeing the bonus barrel hovering and hoping the bonus stage isn't god-awful. So going in order, Diddy Kong's challenge seems a little hot for Jungle Japes. To collect the golden banana, you have to finish the course with 50 coins. 50! Like I mentioned earlier, there's plenty of opportunities to lose those coins. There's crashes batting at you, fireballs jumping out, TNT just waiting to explode. This course really tosses you in the deep end. All in all, it's a fairly short course with plenty of opportunities to collect enough coins. It's easy to jump away or slow down to avoid taking a hit. There's the occasional railroad switch, allowing the player to choose between two paths and collecting more coins. I suppose in comparison to the other cart challenges, this one isn't all that hard. So let's go into Chunky's challenge. Once again, the player must collect 50 coins. This time around, it's going to be even harder due to how many more obstacles make an appearance. There's plenty of falling boulders and trees just begging to land on top of poor Chunky. The player needs to pay attention to what color this bell is, as switching to green will open the upcoming door, but switching the bell to red will close the door, thus losing coins. More crashes, fireballs, of course. This time, switching railroads can either lead the player to more coins or an unfortunate fate with falling boulders. And the cherry on top, this pitch black, rainy section with a sneaky tree ready to topple over and the door closing. It can be a real doozy. 50 coins don't seem all that bad until you're faced with all those obstacles. And last, probably the toughest of all, DK's minecart challenge. Thankfully, only 25 coins are needed, and seeing as how this is one of the longer courses, there's plenty of opportunities to lose coins left and right. All of these courses are iconic, but this one really takes the cake. The Resident Demon. I suppose this is the closest thing to a mini boss fight. It's certainly rewarding of being a hard challenge. Now the player can bop around on more than one track. The occasional tombstone will shoot up from the ground, similar to how the trees are just waiting for you to come around. The ghost demon will try attacking by throwing hands your way. Skull fireballs will come blasting out of it, which prompts a shift in the camera angle. And I gotta say, this course is genuinely scary for kids. It throws you in the deep end and goes hard, and it's long, like 4.5 to 5 minutes. By the time I get to the halfway point, I'm checking my watch like, okay, is this still going? So now that we've looked into the differences between these three minecart challenges, let's go into why I've included them to the list. Each one brings something unique to the table. They manage to hold a fine balance of challenging but fun. For something like the beetle race, you can fall off the cliff over and over and it's more of a punishment. And it's not like some of the coin collecting bonus stages where the main challenge is, oops, I ran out of time. So even if you lose coins here and there, the player is left with plenty more opportunities to collect enough coins. And if not, it's not a total waste of time. Now the player has a better understanding of the course and what to expect in the next round. And there you have it, folks. Here's 7 golden bananas I consider to be some of the best to collect. What do you think of these golden bananas? There's so much to consider, and I'm sure some of you will agree with me, and others not so much. But I'd love to hear what some of your favorite golden bananas are. I'm sure there's one or two really fun ones I completely forgot about, so let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.